Knuckles isn't just good, it's pretty great. Hey, what's up everyone, it's me, SpeedSuperSonic, bringing you guys another video, and today is the day. It's April 26th, the Knuckles TV show has finally arrived on Paramount Plus. After a very long wait, being announced in February of 2022 alongside Sonic Movie 3, it was an indicator that Paramount has a lot of faith in the Sonic the Hedgehog brand. And over the course of time, we've since received Sonic Movie 2, Sonic Movie 3 has already started its marketing rollout, and it seems like there's already more faith going into the brand at this point after the second movie's very positive reception and amazing performance at the box office. In fact, when you go to the Knuckles series on Paramount Plus, it's stated that this is part of the cinematic world of Sonic the Hedgehog. A very clear plan indicated by producer Toby Asher that this is not just going to be a few series of films with the Knuckles TV show. They're going to expand upon this in the future with more movies and even more shows. Knuckles being the first step in this massive plan. And did they achieve this, and will this formula work? Well, as it was described by Toby Asher, one of the people who spearheaded the series into being a reality, these series are meant to act as character studies to dive deeper into the characters of this world, get to know them better in between all of the big massive action set pieces that are in the movies going forward, like we saw in Sonic Movie 2, packed to the brim with it, and is to be expected with Sonic 3, which is being hyped to be something very special. And I can confirm that Knuckles accomplishes this in every sense. Knuckles is a thoroughly entertaining, extremely funny, and actually kind of bold and daring show that manages to make itself feel like part of this Sonic cinematic world that we've come used to, but being able to differentiate itself and be its own thing. The show follows Knuckles, who's struggling to become accustomed to the ways of living on Earth. While Sonic and Tails have become very used to it, love it here, Knuckles is still trying to figure his way around everything. Getting himself into trouble while not doing anything maliciously, he just has no idea what he's doing, ending up getting grounded. But calling upon Pac-Man, I still don't think anybody knows how to truly say the name 100% accurately, to help give him guidance. And this leads to Knuckles giving guidance to somebody else. That is none other than Wade Whipple, who acts as the co-protagonist of this show. Wade, of course, was in the first two Sonic the Hedgehog movies, but really is a sidekick kind of character and comic relief to James Marsden's Tom Wachowski, aka Donut Lord. Not a lot of depth there, not a lot of time really was able to be given to that character because there was so much going on. He's very much so a tertiary character, not even a secondary one. So this really gives Adam Pally, who is a great comedic actor and has been at this thing for a while, a big starring role and able to really show what he has. And boy does he deliver. This is the best form of Wade we've seen in any of the pieces of Sonic movie universe media so far. Wade is part of a bowling league, but is just continuing to fall on his face and feeling like a massive loser. And it's now Knuckles' goal to help him out on his journey to become an echidna warrior. This takes them on a very entertaining road trip where you get to see these characters bond and connect very personally. Shenanigans ensue with many entertaining characters coming along the way. Some of my favorite include the two villains that we come across who act as gun agents. Both are incredibly entertaining and just cartoonishly perfect. While of course human characters having a lot of screen time can draw some flack from fans, which of course we'll get to later on in the review, these characters being gun agents in particular very much so does help as still connecting to the Sonic world that us as fans have known for a long time with the organization they work for being Gun. But it just helps that the actors who are portraying these two characters give their all and really understand their role here and what they're able to do with the material. This extends beyond this. In the introductions to Wade's family, they explore a little bit about the religion, some of the family history and trauma that's been experienced in the Whipple world. This is really one of the first times that you're able to see Knuckles a bit more human and personalized. This all inevitably comes to a head when they get to Reno, Nevada, where a massive bowling tournament is taking place, and of course wacky shenanigans ensue. I do not want to spoil the series, we're not going plot by plot breakdown of every single spoiler that happens. We'll definitely be talking more about that in the future, but that's just a little summary of what the show is about, and I think they executed it brilliantly. Now, it also should be stated that this isn't a perfect show by any means. This is a 6-part miniseries, not really acting as a proper TV show where there's, individual episodes. All of these are strung together, so it makes it feel like one big story, and at points, if you're watching all of them back to back, some of the pacing can feel off at points, and it kind of feels stretched out, and maybe they could have cut down by an episode or two. But as a whole, I think that this was an amazing entry in the Sonic movie franchise, but I think I have to address the elephant in the room. If you guys have been on the internet recently at all, in this channel alone, our last video we were talking about that there's been a lot of divisive discourse about this show with not only the fan base, but just people in general. general. And that is because this show is not just really Knuckles. Like I said, the pro-protagonist of this show is Wade. A lot of people even go to state that Wade is the main character of this show. Knuckles gets sidelined at numerous points, and I've even seen some people go as far to say that this is like one of the worst pieces of Sonic media, if not the worst that they've seen, and I just kind of want to put this out there. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you watch Knuckles and you didn't enjoy it, that's perfectly fine. You're entitled to that. But as someone who did enjoy it, I kind of want to explain my perspective here and kind of why I think people might have misunderstood what this show is. From the very beginning when we learned about this show and its synopsis, we knew that Wade and Knuckles were going to act as co-protagonists. Wade was going to get a lot of screen time in this show, and he does get a lot. But never at points during the show did I feel like the deviation from the Knuckles character felt unnecessary or that it detracted from the overall enjoyment of the series. Knuckles is in this show a lot. That can't be ignored. He probably has the most screen time out of any character in the first episode, maybe even the second. And I remember hearing from people saying that, oh, just after the second episode, everything just dips off completely, and I completely disagree. I think the third episode where Wade is trying to break Knuckles out from the gun agents who eventually did capture him, as we see in some of the promotional material, is an amazing episode and incredibly fun and entertaining. It just brought me so much joy. I think that was an amazing episode of television, and in the circumstance that they were in, they wrote it into the story well to where Knuckles didn't need to be in every single scene of that episode. 4 is the episode a lot of people point towards to where like everything goes completely awry, and I have to disagree, as that might be one of, if not the best episode of the show, and it's the one that features Knuckles the least. That's where the show gets a little weird, a little zany and out there, and tries something bold and different, and I really enjoyed it. You might have seen some of these screenshots and clips from this musical number that takes place during the show, and it is done so well. It is so entertaining. This is a part where I think Sonic fans need to separate the Sonic from the art. Now, I'm not saying the Knuckles TV show is like high art or anything. It's something that's going to be studied in textbooks for generations at, you know, film school. But I think this needs to be appreciated for what it is. Not every single aspect of this show needed to consist with Sonic lore or dumping in a bunch of different Sonic characters like I've seen people suggest. We of course heard a lot of things about they should bring the Chaotix in and have done a Knuckles Chaotix type of show, or toss in Rouge, or make Metal Sonic an antagonist. No. While that's something you might have liked, yes, that is not ultimately what was ever promised for this show, and is not what it needed to be. As a simple piece of television, it still does a very good job at executing upon the character of Wade, who we've now become attached to, while still adding on to the Knuckles show overall, and keeping the story progressing, and keeping it entertaining. It's not like they just completely ditched the Sonic aspect of things. There are multiple references and callbacks, and Wade's in a Knuckles costume, and so much stuff going on there. And then the final 2 episodes, which largely take place in Reno, features Knuckles a lot more prominently, and while yes, Wade is prominent in that as well, as he's confronting a lot about his character and his past, Knuckles is right alongside him to assist in that character development, and not just for Wade, but Knuckles as well. I could understand people being like, this isn't a great Sonic thing, this is what I wanted from a Sonic show, and I can get that point of view. But as an enjoyer of television and just the form of visual media, I think this did its job very, very well and was incredibly entertaining. Putting Knuckles in the back seat at points during the show was almost necessary, because if you don't make us care about these other characters, which you kind of need to put in for whether it's production reasons, budget, then making these characters entertaining and well written is nice. Also, I want to compliment the tone of the show. It's very consistent, it's very comedic, and it's very enjoyable. Just the entertainment factor is there completely. This is another thing I've seen ragged on as well, as this feeling like iCarly at points, or a sitcom I've seen mentioned a lot when it comes to like a kid show. And I just have to say this. You know Sonic is a kid's franchise, right? I'm not just here to say that every kid's property needs to dumb itself down, but the thing is, Knuckles doesn't really do that. Knuckles isn't a dumb show. Yes, Knuckles can get very silly, very over the top, and doesn't take itself entirely serious all the time, which I feel is needed for a show that's a spin-off of Sonic the Hedgehog. I would categorize this show as an action comedy, but it's not like it's completely devoid of drama or character development or growth or deeper moments. It has its cool action set pieces and all of that stuff, but it can get goofy at points. It can be silly, and that's completely fine. Knuckles, at the end of the day, as we were seeing towards the end really, and sometimes even throughout all of Sonic Movie 2, was a comic relief character in himself. Honestly, I think that's one of the best decisions that they made, having him being this fish out of water kind of character and not really understanding Earth and the human race all that well, contributed to his character being so entertaining, and him learning all about the Shabbat dinner and all of the stuff that they're doing and all of the backstory of all these different characters. It was so intriguing. Him learning about music and all of this different stuff. It was so fun to see. Idris Elba and Knuckles is the best part of this show, and I do want to see more of him in the future. Whenever he's on screen, it's just pure gold watching it. But part of what makes that Knuckles character and seeing him on screen as golden is the fact that he's juxtaposed to another character that is well written and entertaining to watch in the form of Adam Palley's Wade Whipple. I know that's a character that's going to be incredibly divisive and a lot of people don't like, but I think they executed upon it as well as they really could have. Like I said, I know a lot of Sonic fans would have liked to see Knuckles and the Chaotix go against Rouge and Metal Sonic or whoever they want to bring in. Basically just dump all of the Sonic stuff that we know from other media, but that is once again not what the show is trying to be. And for what this show is trying to be, I think it's the best it could have been. Like I said, there are of course improvements that can be made. There's some wonky pieces of dialogue. There's no specific performance in the show that I wasn't the biggest fan of by someone who had a decent amount of screen time towards the tail end of things, so I don't want to single out because I think that'd just be rude. And another part why I don't want to do that is because it's so minor and doesn't really detract from the show all that much. I don't know, guys. I wasn't gonna sit here and lie. I wasn't gonna buy into the fan base discourse. I wasn't gonna try to fit in and just have the popular opinion here. I don't even know if it's the popular opinion or a loud majority, but I really enjoyed the Knuckles show. I think it was a thoroughly entertaining, hilarious, and somewhat bold choice to go forward with the Sonic movie universe. If I had to give it a score right now, I think I'm feeling an 8 on it. I don't think it's the greatest piece of television to hit the airwaves, but gosh darn it was I entertained. I watched all these episodes back to back and it blew by and I just had an amazing time, and I thoroughly suggest, guys, if you have not watched Knuckles yet, please do yourself a favor and go watch it. I know there's been divisiveness, a lot of people being like, oh, I don't know about this, I don't know about it, but do yourself a favor and watch it. Even if you don't end up liking it, at least do yourself the service of letting yourself experience it for yourself. I'm so happy with how Knuckles turned out, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do next with all of these different spin-offs. Are we going to get more TV series of other characters, like when they do Shadow? Is it going to be a show of him, or are we going to do a movie with that? We'll have to wait and see. But this is where I pass off to you and ask what you think. What did you think of Knuckles? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And if you have not seen it yet, do you plan to? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Feel free to follow my social media links, my Twitter and Instagram in the description below. You can follow those my things in my life, future content, and all things Sonic the Hedgehog. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. This is the #1 station on YouTube for all things Sonic, whether it's video games, TV shows, movies, comics, merchandise, and more. We talk about it all. Now that the Knuckles show is out, I think we should start looking at a lot of Sonic Movie 3 news coming right down the pipe. We've already had a lot of info come out about it recently, but now that Knuckles is out of the way and there's no real competition for marketing anymore, I think they can really start diving into that. We also have other stuff coming as well, like a slew of games including Sonic X Shadow Generations. I cannot wait. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
And be right by the motherfucking seaside, dog. Everything I see, I got a dream. I thought these leaves would go and take me out the dark. I know everything I wanted to follow with me.